again, a very good game from them. And I don't want to sound like the prisoner of Casper here. I know Reese is about, what I'm about to say next, Reese is going to make me sound like I'm the prisoner of Casper hater. But I would like to point out, yes, the zone wasn't directly on Fort Crumpet. It was near Slurpy Swamp is where we ended. So the zone pulled slightly further away from them. And it was slightly, it was still a good game. It was still a good game. But just something to keep up.
You're such a hater. I would never make the exact same analytical point that you were about to make. I would never do that.
Can I say though, they got 6 cylinders. They got 6 cylinders because they only had one on the first game. So they put up some numbers this time.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's a really great start for them. I was always a big fan of Prisoner and Casper. Obviously, they were a team that made it to Globals in, 2024, I think it was, right? And again, when things went to trios, the switch up just sort of like fell into the weeds, like a top team. Specifically both of them, again, maybe making their rise here in Reload and showing that they are still 2 top dogs in the league.
I am surprised by the lack of eliminations we're seeing early in the game, but I'm also surprised by the amount of high-ground chaos, because that last game 11 was absolutely ridiculous. It felt like no teams could really establish it when you would expect them to, and then from there on, I Drop and Marius tried and again got topped. It was like a Linkin Park song by the end. In the end, it didn't really matter.
It was crazy. Great reference. Reese, we've been talking about throwbacks with me and you back on the desk together. What this is reminding me is back in Chapter 2 days when we used to do this, and you'd always have Game 1 of Grand Finals in FNCS. Would always be a team up on height, nobody touches them, nobody looks at them. That was me in the last game, right? Game 2, you'd always get every team in the lobby going, wait, Game 1 height was free, we've got to try it. And like, we have the exact same parallel today where every team, it felt like they were going for height that changed so many times there.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, we might sit here and say, oh, maybe they just learned from game 1. The team won because they're on height and now they knew. These players know that playing high ground is fine, but if we actually saw our best teams in the lobby in this game had a much better position to be on height, they were way more stats. Like TD and Shark is a good example there. Tried to take height like, I want to say 15 times. Maybe I'm under-exaggerating. Maybe it's 20.
So many times, yeah.
Exactly. Now they're up to like 1-0 builds, but like they played it earlier, did nothing. Somehow got shot. I have no idea how they got to a top 3, by the way, when they single Leland, by using so many mans repeatedly trying to take height.
Sorry, I'm just in shock as well.
Replay doesn't get old. It just literally does not get old. Seeing how many times the team kept going for that high ground. I was also obsessed with just seeing like Podesai and Acer like on the mid ground just stuck second height. Completely not quite making it on time. Let's talk about Pablo as well. Pablo had a very interesting early game, but let's talk about the end game first, because this is the second game in a row that he's managed to make it far and make it so impressive. 11.
Yeah, again, not as great as the first game from them, but look, if we actually take a look here, because we've got the clip, Pablo started this game landing that slurp, and for the people who don't know, that's not where he was landing game 1 or where he was projected to land. Now, this is actually a pretty cool tactic that we've not seen in games yet until now, which is obviously with the respawn mechanic, when you go down, like you respawn wherever your teammate is. So you can split drop, right? If you are uncontested off spawn at your POI, one of you can just land anywhere else on the map, and if you go down, you just know you're respawn on top of your teammate, right? Which they took advantage of to potentially try to get some eliminations. Pablo did go down, but had he got an elimination and went down, that's like an extra 3 points, right? That could be the difference later down in the tournament.
And it's interesting because like they didn't do it in game 1, and the reason is they don't know what's going on with their own drop spot, right? So game 1, you might have 2 or 3 teams landing there, but now going into game number 2, they know no one's contesting at logjam off to the west, so they can make a play like this where they can just decide, you know what, I might get a sneaky Elam point. They didn't, and it didn't work whatsoever. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter too much for them across the leaderboard.
I've got a quick question for you boys. We're going to see the triple from Twek and Midori because they have had such a fantastic start, flawless start to the day. But are they going to do a third and potentially secure their spot at the finals level?
I don't know, but I really want to see it. I want it to happen. I love stories like this where you just get a team come from absolutely nowhere.
I'm gonna say no. That would be insane. Like I'm so impressed, right? That clip we just saw, actually, one of the reasons I'm so impressed there, because Twitch, this is gonna sound super minor. When he went to edit on the player who was pickaxing on the wall, he took his time. He was slow, which means he's not panicking, he's not doing anything crazy. So obviously they're calm and, you know, collected, it's all okay. 3 in a row? Nah, I'm not buying into the hype just yet.
I am, which is why I'm going to throw it to game number 3 with Taco Takata. I mean, the hype's already there. Even if they don't find a third Victor Royale in a row, Takata, just find the back-to-back in this caliber of a lobby has already basically cemented them as a very obvious threat for the remainder of this Reload Elite Series finals.
Yeah, and this is a duo that doesn't have a single FNCS finals appearance, and now they're getting back-to-back wins in the Reload finals. Like, hello? How are they doing this? Look, 3 hat trick. I don't know. I might be on Reese boats here, a little too good to be true, but remember, it is top 3 that qualify to that Reload Elite Series Championship LAN, where they get to compete for a whole other $1 million prize.
And the battle bus is ready to go. Jumping straight into it. All of our teams now a little bit better prepared in terms of what to expect from those first couple of lobbies. But Takata, we could also see some switch ups. I mean, Leva made a great point. Pablo trying to go for that initial split drop strategy, but it might also be extending the invitation for the same to happen to him and Chino if they're not careful.
Hold on. Now we got Sato in the mix. Look, Levin was alluding to this too. I think we even saw it in the Pro-Am where the pros would go frag out and just leave their teammate to kind of have their loot ready if the reboot had to come through. I dropped though, gonna pick up Mamabuka now. Quick elimination on the board, but Slurpee is getting chaotic. Sato's mission didn't last too long as Vico falls as well.
This is tragic for Vico and Mamabuka. Just clear elimination so early on. Mattias now can be forced to disengage. Given that iDrop was taken out, but Flixie, Chap, now choosing to pressure directly into the heart of Slurpee Swamp. They seize their opportunity the moment that they recognize that Mamabuka has been eliminated. Vico also falling incredibly low here. But Mattias and iDrop, they will get a little bit of breathing room since Mattias was able to find those first couple of eliminations. But with Chap and Flixie so close, darn demons. I mean, almost anything can happen at this point in Slurpee, but that is a massive blow to Mamabuka and Vico being forced to just kind of sit out this entire lobby. And we've already seen just how detrimental one placement can be. So to not have any in an entire lobby, they've got their work cut out for them for playing catch up.
100%. I like the positioning too for fucking Visual's drop. I mean, it's close to Darn and Demish. Center map is perfect for reload. As we see Sky and Scroll, not the best start from them, but you know, we're still very early on in this tournament, so anything can still happen. And not being contested gives you kind of a bit of that freedom to play it slow in the early game, get all the resources you need for later. As Pix and Combat might be looking for a sneaky play.
They are just steady lurking on Casper and Prism, and Prism has a big 100 shot, no shield, but it's not what Pix and Combat had initially been hoping for. They wanted to get the outright drop, the outright panic. Still, Prism just trying to reunite with his duo. He needs Casper to play a little bit of backup here. A lot of pressure application right now, though. And Casper, Prism, they'll still manage to hold through for the time being. Casper instead gonna go on the aggressive now. Pix forced to revert his initial strategy, and he's just gonna have to fall back entirely. Now he's the one trying to just play for a little bit more of shield healing and combat. He'll take the reins now, but the material count is incredibly low for Pix and combat. Got a side angle shot. Casper coming up big time. That's gonna be a nice elimination here. Pix and combat, what initially seemed like it was going to be a sneak opportunity purely in their favor, now has left them fully on the retreat.
Using up that shockwave bailout. Kind of make a comeback here. Good news is there's no duos around them, so they are going to be able to kind of group up once again. The issue is recuperating these resources quick enough before you kind of have to get closer to the more established duos in the zone, but definitely could be a lot worse as Pablo and Chino now look to be hunting down a player themselves.
Yeah, right, I just nowhere left to run. Chino almost playing with his food right there, but 2 eliminations now for Pablo and Chino. They've done a decent job at working things through from the starting point over Far West and Logjam, but she's only the foot right now for Multi and Snoskew. They're having to go up against Sato and Monzi. Sato seems like he wants to just immediately barrel into the box here, but still wants to be wary, doesn't want to give away any sort of opening shots. A big exchange between Sato and Multi, and that's going to send Multi to immediately fall back here. Snosky now looking to see if he can maybe capitalize on Sato having taken such a huge chunk of his HP. But with Monzi right behind, it's going to be all too easy for them to separate one more time, and Monzi still having a little bit of leverage. That overhead POV.
A lot of close quarters combat. A Shark making use of an SMG. It's interesting. In standard BR, ARs and shotguns are basically identical in terms of damage dealt, but in reload, shotguns did 4 times more damage than ARs, so quite a difference. But like we mentioned earlier, Taco, this is a completely new playing ground in these final lobbies. You can't take what we saw in opens, what we saw in heats, to decide what's going to happen here. Shark and Teeny have been loving the high ground retakes, using everything they can utility-wise to make it happen. So I think one of these games they're bound to take it.
I don't know that I would say loving it, given that they were constantly chopped out of burn all of their materials to even look for those positions. And if anything, they clearly want the high ground. They clearly enjoy holding high ground, but that is going to be a struggle if it's anything like what we saw in that secondary lobby with the constant swap outs of height. But Chino and Pablo, they know what kind of an end game they've got to really set themselves up for. I did like that initial appearance though from Twek and Nidro, kind of trying to see how far of a territory stake are you trying to make as Shark and Teeny, but not looking to overextend the position. Those are just a couple of like leaderboard heavy hitters right now, and darn Demish not too far behind. I believe they were sitting in that 3rd place position, and they've had at minimum 3 wins in all of their Heat games. Today they started off with 7. It is clear that they know exactly how to get scrappy with it, and they have zero fear with taking fights.
You know, we've seen how important it is format-wise as well to get a good amount of eliminations consistently. Unless, you know, you're Twek and Nidro and you just get back-to-back wins, but Sky and Scroll now looking for a little bit more of a sneaky play, and once again just continuing to play as passive as possible, not putting themselves in those risky situations, just kind of waiting for the opportunity to come to them.
It's almost uncanny though to their usual play style, at least not from what we were witnessing out of them inside of their Heat groups, and that's I understand that, you know, obviously in a set lobby finals, you know that the competition is going to be leveled up just all that much higher, but at the same time, you don't want to lose your identity necessarily as a duo. I'm really waiting to see if they can find their rhythm, because it just doesn't look like they've really locked into their flow state just yet.
Good news, they got a lot of time to do so. Minori, Darkos, and following behind Hero and Ping here, but they've got a long ways to go, making themselves a good little rotate into the zone without having any focus put onto them.
Ping and Hero investing a little bit of hard builds, just really trying to make it very unlikely for anybody to actually want to arrest them, letting them know, hey, we're healthy, we're stacked, we're in a good spot. We don't need to force the issue just yet. Chap and Flixie still holding on to that early elimination. Haven't had to travel too far either from that west side of Slurpee Swamp, but kind of keeping Marius and iDrop in the rearview mirror here. Pablo, Chino also a couple of later stragglers here, but it's Lusha and Matthew who have really been struggling struggling to find their footing in this lobby. Seems like they're just being held by a couple of different teams
So you
on the way in.
you know how this thing I got a bit of
A lobby focus here, but
so you them have to just know so much work is important, bro. Cause we need money.
Yeah, there's a bit of action now behind them as well with the players who finally made it towards the zone, but a lot of the duos that are already boxed up aren't actually looking that side for the players that are rotated in. Still quite a large section to play with here. This comeback and picks hopefully have been able to recover from what happened earlier before. Looks like they have a bit of mobility and they might just be going for a full-on refresh as the shot is not going to connect from picks, but now the box fight's going to come through as the third-party action from afar is also pressured onto them.
they lost their opening though. That was, they had the element of surprise with the crash pads. You can't really tell when a player is about to crash pad on top of your noggin. But when the shots don't hit, you're just left to go next, essentially here. Twig and Nidro making good use, space around them, kind of taking over little building territory, north lockdown, but I think more importantly still, Takata, is just we have seen a pretty good spread of talent between the way that they choose to play the high ground, the way that they choose to play the low. It's just about manifesting that consistency, and it's crazy to think that, and I could be wrong on this, but I do believe there are actually a couple of controller players.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's interesting too. Reese was even pointing out they didn't even seem too nervous.
She has a short reach, nigga. She not joking. Look at them hands, nigga.
Now with back-to-back wins, you know, they've got a bit of that fire fueling them with confidence, so hopefully it doesn't kind of cause them to overstep themselves and make a risky play that ends up with them getting eliminated, but we're getting closer and closer to that end game, closer and closer to the reboots getting disabled. Once the 6 zone closes and 7th of tiers, it is going to be when the reload is no longer active.
No one close enough that they feel it necessary to try and go for anything to block at the moment. Gun pools, that's what we're really waiting to see because everyone's going to start to make their rotates and things are going to be Takata because reboots disabled.
Welcome back to Prep 10.
And a special welcome once again to our viewers on TVJ.
Yo, I am convinced it's currently every name is here, you can wait.
So in the middle of nowhere, a woman shows up to a house and she starts beating on the front door, yelling for help. She's been beaten up and stabbed, and she's got no shoes on, so this farmer guy answers the door. Reach Jason, but she just can't get through to him. Like, she's blowing up his phone with hundreds of text messages, she's begging him to take her back, she's sending him, I guess, journal entries that indicate how much she wants to get back together with him. She's even messaging Alex a ton and begging him to help her get back together with Jason. But I guess Alex is like, nah, you're crazy. So nothing is working. And now Ezra's got to come up with a new plan to get Jason to take her back. She wants to make sure that he knows that her fling with Alex meant absolutely nothing. So she decides to make it look like Alex is a really bad guy who tried to SA her. And not only that, but she also plans to murder him. So one day in 2018, Jason is at that local coffee shop that they like to hang out at, and out of nowhere, Ezra shows up. And she tells him that she's about to swing by Alex's place, and she says that she's going to return some items that she has of his, but the thing is, Jason notices that she's acting really strange, and he gets a really bad feeling. So, when Ezra leaves the coffee shop to drive to Alex's house, Jason low-key follows her on his bike. So then, Ezra gets to Alex's house, and she goes inside. Then, Jason gets there, and he's not sure what to do or what's going on, so he just lets himself inside Alex's house as well. In there, he sees Alex and Ezra talking, and there's like nothing contentious going on, they aren't like fighting or anything. So eventually, I guess Jason doesn't see anything wrong, and he leaves. Then Ezra drives Alex all the way over to some rural, remote area on some dirt road where they can be really alone. Then they get out of the car, and the moment Alex turns his back on her, she suddenly pulls out a knife, and boom, she stabs him. Then she stabs him again, and again, and again, and she ends up stabbing him 16 times, and he, unfortunately, doesn't survive. Then she takes his phone and she breaks it so that no one can trace him. Then she turns the knife on herself and she starts giving herself cuts and slashing at her clothes and whatnot to make it look like that she was attacked by him. And then she takes the knife and she carves the word boy into her forearm. Why does she carve the word boy into her forearm? Well, apparently back in high school, Ezra used to identify as boy and use male pronouns. But then she later changed that and went back to identifying as woman. And I guess she's trying to make it look like Alex was mocking her gender identity and carving the word boy in her arm or something. Anyway, then she kind of just leaves Alex there in the middle of nowhere.
Stuck inside the congested layers. That's the lotion, Baba. Just connecting. Maybe possibly maybe challenges, but Negro, they just drop it straight into their box. Trying to see if they can maybe overtake, but it's a complete cutoff here. Negro doing an excellent job of finding that elimination.
Oh God, so tell me hard buckle for the life. And as buckle reach for the life, buckle say, hey mad boy, here tell me. That still come with some different pussy. Here buckle, one more come with. Here tell me. I'm here look man. I'm here look man. The least I can do look man, but with it. Listen to me, who's a Tavi man? Tavi no man. Oh God. So Tavi had buckle for the line. And as buckle reach for the line, buckle say, hey man boy, here Tavi. That still come with some different pussy. Here buckle, one more come with. Here Tavi. I'm here look man. I'm here look man. The least I can do look man, but with it. Listen to me. Lone girl to me skin, them ask me want to shot. This room was the mad, once it done. The way me shout, make it hard to cut.
Yeah, allow me that, allow me.
We gotta stick together, we can't get one time in the game.
Let's see him crowd, let's see how long we can get that. That's what you ever see, though.
Oh my God, see like everything fun. They got, SpongeBob, they got me. I thought I'd never make. Basically, we about to make some spaghetti, but with a mop. Chop these up, and then we're gonna put them on a plate, and then we're gonna mix the sauce in with them. So I chop this off, and we about to cook up real quick. Maybe she can use this as a duster to get some of the webs down in the corners. Don't tell her I said that. Y'all think we can pass with this? This is the finished product. What y'all think? Yes, no? I don't know. I think it's gonna work. I don't like how the fuck y'all done went and got whipped and dipped in this motherfucker and got me sitting here with this motherfucking apron on top of my head, girl. I didn't book you a hair appointment because your hair can't fit into a ponytail. You cut your hair. You did that. So now I gotta sit here and look like motherfucking Dexter that? Y'all done forgot about me or not? Stop. But anyways, chat, we finally got our hands on the famous TikTok. Is this pasta? This is good. You gotta swirl. You gotta swirl it. What are you doing? Stop. What type of motherfucking medicine you doing?
Solidifying themselves up above, so let's head right back over to the desk so they can break that down for us.
Shut the fuck up and I just said dog, sorry motherfucker. That's not dog.
Everything you love, you're gonna lose someday.
And a performance that we sort of expected. We talked a lot about how their strategy and approach really was a lot of them playing on those lower lanes, trying to avoid the chaos of shockwave, and we saw them sort of close out the game there, which was just as you expected.
Well, I mean, one of the things that they always do, you know, I say they put it on to avoid it, but they always keep shockwave. One of the ways they win most of the games in the open or in their heat is literally holding on to a shockwave from that final moment just to knock out teams, take a height retake, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I love those moments at the end of the game, like where it's all just about like trying to shock your opponents back into the storm and tip them away. Look, these guys are going to continue to have games like this, right? I think as far as consistency goes, when they are in these positions, they're so comfortable. Scroll here, his form has been unbelievable this year. And so again, this is where like their comfort zone is. This is where you expect to see them thrive. And this is what you were talking about here, right? That ability to just go up towards the end. You gotta have some, right? You gotta have some. Even if you're avoiding people doing it to you, you want to make sure you have the option to do it yourself. So big first game here. Again, 2 players, many people around the world in Fortnite expected to see competing at that final lap.
And I think it's very important. Sorry to cut you off. They were 11th before this, so not doing great. Let's be honest. 11th before this. This should be a huge jump up into the leaderboard.
I'm just wondering, and I was going to jump in to just ask Reese, do we want to see these guys play it safe literally until those end games to guarantee themselves a high placement in the league?
Absolutely, that's like their bread and butter strategy. You know, the first 2 games didn't necessarily go out that well for them. That match for me is just everything I love from them as a team. It's every other match I've watched just played out yet again. It's just literally a copy and paste of their game plans. So to see it actually work out here is great.
Well, we have got quite a few people who are trying to menace the early game. We'll be talking about those naughty players after this break. year in Fortnite for Danish duos, and luckily Sky and Scroll helped me along in my hypothesis because they did take our third game of today's Reload Elite Series qualifier. But let's talk about some of the other duos in the lobby because Twek and Nidro, they didn't manage to do the back-to-back-to-back level.
Yeah, again, a bit of a slow rolling momentum there, but you can't complain, right? They're still able to showcase some of what has made them a team that has been very impressive today, right? You see they're dropping a player down, able to get a refresh. It got a bit messy, right? They had another team looking to try to get involved, but ultimately, this is still a team I'm really excited about moving forward with.
Absolutely, and one of the things I like about their strategy they're playing so far is, from what I've seen for the most part, only one of them is carrying some form of mobility, right? You saw 3 different weapons, which isn't ideal by any means in the inventory there, but a lot of times allows them to carry more white. So you saw right at the end, he's popping a lot of med kits to keep yourself alive in the storm for a lot longer. And you can do that if you're not carrying as much mobility, but look at the leaderboards. I mean, they're still standing strong on top with quite a huge margin because of their first 2 wins.
Now, I did mention before the break some cheeky teams. And there wasn't anyone really cheekier than Flixie in this lobby. He managed to clutch that solo second place, but he also had a very proactive start to his game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually want to say something. I'm sorry, I'm jumping in there. I'm furious. Chappie Flixie were the team I said were the obvious pick to be the best out of Slurpee. Now, of course, we're only 3 games in, but so far that is holding true. They sit in second place, coming out of Slurpee. The team Reese pick has 3 points in 3 games, put them on the leaderboard. I'm just putting that out there. I just want to say that.
Well, now I'm angry because I wanted to talk about that later on, Levin. but before, we will talk about that in more detail. But, I mean, Reese, you're really happy to see actually these guys taking initiative, and it certainly paid off for Flixie in the end.
Absolutely, no. We saw them up into second in the leaderboard there. They are, as Levin mentioned, the kind of obvious pick to do well from the draw spot. Like, top 3 is it's a huge prize pool for him today. So to see him up in second place is looking pretty good.
Should we talk more about Slurpee then, and the fact that actually not all of the teams are capitalising? Levin, you may speak.
I think the really interesting thing that was fun with this game, and we can sort of roll the footage here, right, and look at what happened at Slurpee Reese, because I know you want to talk about it, is in this game, Chappie and Flixie were really aggressive towards Rico and Nanabuka, right, and that could be a problem. We actually had Sato landed here as well, which caused some problems for everybody involved, but it's just getting really crazy off score here for these guys.
Yeah, it's getting very, very nice. You can see getting down all over and over and over again, but what we might not see is the fact that they ended up shopping over. Chappie and Flixie started off with a lot more aggression. They jumped straight onto the team contest and wiped them straight out of the game. Unfortunately, my clip now gone down. But at the same time, across the rest of the lobby, we saw something very similar. Like Pablo wiped out Rytex's team by camping on the chest. We saw Lusha landed onto Pink, who's wiped them out of the match, and they were 5th place coming into this as well. So coming into like the game 3 that we just watched there's obviously been a lot of change up in the strats. Players playing way more aggressive to get a couple cheeky early game points.
Well, I think all of this cheekiness is allowing some Dark Horses to slip through the net into the end game, because Dark Horse and Minori, I think they came second in game number 2. They just come in the top 3 of this game as well, and they're slowly making their way up the leaderboard race.
Yeah, and it's impressive from them because they're the kind of team that I knew nothing about coming into this. I'll be totally honest, As we mentioned for some of our other teams like Twek and Nitro at the same time, like, who's putting these guys in the top 10? And I haven't put these guys into mine either, so to see them pop off is interesting. I was wondering to see exactly what the strategy was, and earlier on to this match, they were playing a bunch of the Storm with the medkits, similar to what Twek and Nitro has already been doing in his first 2 matches as well.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of being able to just save a lot of their resources to just keep them ticking in the game for a lot longer, right? Like in that game, at times it did get a bit hectic, but they had so many matches they were able to just play them out and just stay alive as long as they possibly could.
We had a theory earlier on in the show about Casper and Prism zones. At the start of today's lobby, falling in their favour. Perhaps they're going to fall out of contention now that the zones aren't quite as favourable level. They really need something to be over at Fort Crumpet for them to make good potentially in game number 4.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was another game that ended at Slurpee, to be fair, right? Which was the same as game 2. So it was a similar zone, but again, a bit of a more difficult performance, right? They struggled again, and it was a bit of a worse game. They tried to play behind and see it didn't quite go too well. So again, at the end of the day, we're game 3, it's not panic stations, but yeah, like, you want to see these guys figure out how to have cleaner games, right? When it's not pulling towards full cramp, for sure.
Yeah, you can see they dropped a lot, right? They've gone down 4 places now into 6th place. And I think it just shows a lot of just how difficult the end games in Reload truly are. It feels like they're 50% of each match. I know they're not, quite literally, but it feels like they just keep going on and on and on and on. And if you're unable to get a good early refresh, it's very, very difficult to play out to like a top 2, to a top 3, you know? If you get a refresh in the 9th zone, relatively early into the loading zones, the likelihood of you getting a ton of matches is high, right? Because everyone else has a ton of matches at that time. If you're able to just kind of play that match out, you're not able to get that at any point. It's so easy for that just to fizzle out because you're playing 5 minutes of an end game over and over again.
So we saw some adaptation in game 3. Reese, I want to stick with you. You're the adapting expert, it feels like. Do you think we're going to see a change in approach from the likes of Vico and Malabuka going into game 4?
I do hope so. That's what I'm going to say, because it's not looking good right now. 20th, he's going to be in some seriously poor mental state when we have to play a tournament right after this. So I want to see some adaptation from him.
Oh, let's hope we can get there. We're going to get into game number 4 with Jacko and Jakarta.
Thank you, Frankie. Reese hoping his teammate for the upcoming tournament does well. But look, what I want to know is who's going to be the new special guest at Slurpee. Every match we seem to have someone new. We had Pablo, we had Sato in the last game. Who's next, Taco?
It just seems like anyone who's really willing to take the gamble, because there's almost nothing to lose if you're one of those teams that is playing from a more uncontested position, because again, Monzi, Sato, no one's fighting them at Dirty Docs. They're just splitting that POI with Teeny and Shark. So it makes sense, but we'll have to see how it all unfolds at the halfway point here, Takata. Game 4 is ready to go.
Not even halfway through this competition yet. Still one more game before we reach that point. The Llama trifecta around Slurpee Swamp. A little care package for Sky and Scroll after that solid match, but it looks like Pablo is going to be the special guest today at Slurpee. Up above, let's see if he can have more of an impact than he did previously.
Nice little move right there though for Sky early on, but yeah, drawing attention back towards Slurpee. Vico, Malabuka, they have just been the centerpiece of focus and on the receiving end from everyone else around them. But Vico doesn't even get a chance to get his shields up. He'll be knocked. That is such an unfortunate timing circumstance here. But for Ijak and Marius, they just want to keep the aggression rolling. They want to see if they can get a clean elimination all the way through. Malabuka and Vico will no longer be in the lobby, but if Marius isn't careful, they'll follow suit with the same fate. Shockwave create a little bit of space here, but being absolutely chased down by Pablo now on the other end of things. One elimination already. Pablo just trying to see what else he can get. It's going to be the thorn in the side here right now for Marius, but Marius does create enough space, and eye drops will bring down Pablo. So he'll be set packing back towards the west side of the map with his duo Gino. It's a nasty strategy though, and the fact that Vico and Malabuka are just eliminated one more time here. I mean, Reese with the analyst curse.
Uh-oh, be careful though. Our top team now put into a bit of danger here. Myjo, Quek. Good news is they're playing together. They're taking shots, but a risky play from Myjo gonna lead to him getting knocked. Momsy with just 9 HP, gonna pop that Med Miss grenade, recuperating what he lost, and now in the 1v2, Twix gonna be forced to crash pad out. Connects coming through, 64 HP. Momsy, Sato are not gonna let this one go. He just has to stay up long enough though for his teammate to reboot back in.
Twek knows though, he's just so incredibly low. Mizero just trying to get whatever distance he can. But Twek, he might be able to come up big time.
No way.
He can find anything, but it's just not going to be enough. Momsy and Sato a little bit too healthy. Also can't help but notice Pink, that is, in the background. But it just seems like from the frying pan straight into the fire right now, Takata, because Teeny and Shark, they definitely took note of the fact that Tweg and Mizero are just constantly rebooting up above, and Shark is ready to see if he can claim his first elimination in this lobby, going straight up, wasting absolutely no time. Tweg, he won't get the chance. He doesn't have a shotgun to try and fight this one back. That's going to be an easy knock and elimination cleanup for Shark. Nidro is just trying to stay hidden. He is just preventing Teeny from scouting him out.
The issue is now they're kind of just going to fall into this respawn frenzy where Shark and Genie are just going to try and farm this elimination as much as possible, as Maijo's just going to sit there as Twek gets elimed again and again and again, but maybe he might have actually escaped this time around. No, Momsy got him.
There's just nowhere to escape to. They are stuck between a rock and a hard place because so many of the surrounding teams in the area are just in too set of a position, and everybody wants these 3 elimination points. It is just a beacon to the lobby on the east side of the map for free elims. Josh and Navy might even start getting their little piece of the pie here. But shift things over. Things are a little bit more calm right now. Scroll does manage to turn it around. Nice elimination, and this is the real time to be tested here. Chino, Pablo, overhead. Can he do it? No! It's gonna be Sky who brings down Chino. Just one more shot. The siphon is everything here. And Sky, he sees Pablo directly in his sights. All he has to do is break his way into the zone. One more shot could be the difference. Oh, Sky, he can't hang on. With the victory last steal at the last seconds.
Misses the initial pump, hits a 30. It's not the damage he was looking for. Unable to get the back-to-back. And in the end, Pablo will be securing that elimination. I thought we were in there. We were going to have double back-to-back VRs, but no. Sky and Scroll, they let the pressure get to them. And Pablo and Chino close that run out. So Reese, Levin, Frankie, what do you got to say?
This is what we thought was going to happen, right? We thought we were going to see showdowns between the likes of these two duos, and in Game 4, it delivered, Reese.
Absolutely did. I was expecting to drop some analysis there, being like the team who won always was dropping a shockwave. In the previous game, it was Sky and Scroll, the shockwave of the team above, they won. This time, technically that's correct, because, you know, Chino and Pablo did that to knock out Sky and Scroll above them, but the miss by Sky and Scroll kind of solidified it for them.
I mean, look, Danish Fortnite never disappoints. They always put on a show for us. Clenching moments at the end there, right, where you're just on the edge of your seat, and unfortunately, you ain't got your shotgun reloaded, you get a minimum, you know, these things do happen. They do happen, but again, congratulations to Chino and Pablo. They played really well today, and that win will definitely do them wonders to qualifying for the land final.
I mean, this is a duo that's got such great game tricks. I mean, earlier in the show, in the lobby, we saw the survive alert play from Casper and Prison, and obviously we know their end games are perfection when everything's going their way.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's funny because our good friends, Destin Jesus Reese, we did like a tournament that we watched with him, and during the tournament he made a claim which I still don't agree with, but I thought it was really funny at the time. He said, Pablo Ingu is a top 3 Fortnite clutcher of all time, and I went, hold on, like, you're just waffling now, like, what are you on about? But since then, I have wanted to pay more attention to Pablo Ingu's clutching ability, and I'll give him credit, he's one of the best clutchers in the game, whether all time is correct or not. And he does get the job done there. Not like his flashiest solo clutch of all time, but one that I'm sure he'll be happy with.
Listen, these are two of the strongest games players we've ever seen, so either one being alone on the end game is a massive insurance policy for that victory royale. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking more about game. We are halfway through our first qualifier final for Fortnite Reload Elite Series. It's weird not saying FNCS, now I'm saying FRES, but it's been a banger so far. And if you missed the end of Game 4, you missed the showdown between our Danish top fighting duos, Tableau, Wingu and Chino versus Sky and Scroll. And Sky and Scroll, it was a little bit unfortunate. There was a bit of a shotgun reload issue that led to Pablo and Chino taking it over them. But Sky and Scroll, another impressive performance, Levin.
Yeah, look, I was actually readying my analysis to go into the end of the game there and talk about how Sky quickly being able to rush and get the finish from the body meant that you obviously had the siphon and then the siphon materials to actually just give him the edge to beat Pablo in the 1v1. But yeah, it's Fortnite, these things happen, you know, it doesn't always quite happen how it looks like it should happen. And I'm sure, you know, they'll be kicking themselves over that game because ultimately, when you watch the game back, you know, when they analyze the game back, they'll be going, yeah, this should have been a win. But still a very good game and a game that keeps them where they want to be, Reese.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see Pablo, he kind of runs over the body, or sorry, Sky runs over the body, goes over the left, but he just doesn't manage to get it. And there's nothing worse, genuinely nothing worse than you're a player, you pull out your belts and nothing happens and then you just get wiped out. I know the hard feeling that he has right now.
We've got to give props to Sharkantini as well. They're now in third position. Remember, the top 3 placing duos qualify for the championship in August. So everyone has got their eyes on those 3 spots. And Sharkantini, they're putting up big numbers, Reese, even though they haven't got a victory royale.
Yes, it's kind of unsurprising, right? They're basically one of the teams that we've seen repeatedly get some early mid-game action as well, right? They beat Casper in that game. I think they got a refresh before the moving zones. They were farming Nitro earlier on into that. So, like, they've been really active in this, and it's kind of showing on usually how many matches they're coming into endgame.
Yeah, I mean, you can see in this highlight package, right, the start of it is just 2 examples of them going for double pickaxe plays into boxes, right? This is what this team is all about. They want to sneak in and get advantages on players who aren't paying attention. A lot of the times it's working out for them, and if they continue to work out, they might secure one of them top 3 spots even without a win at the end of the day.
Now, can we talk about our leaderboard front runners? Because Mijo and Track in that early game were being repeatedly farmed like a cozy sim game, Levin.
Yeah, not the cleanest game, Reese. We'll see that, right? Like, I'm sure they'll be watching back that one going, yeah, it wasn't our time. Look, they did get lucky to start off the game, right? You know, mythic goldfish, it's always nice to see. Shout out to Peterbot, right? We know the types of plays that can be made, but ultimately this game was just them getting farmed over and over again. It was just so messy for the Reese.
Yeah, it's super unfortunate when you run into a building to get some loot and there's 2 guys sitting on a code just wiping you out. You know, before that, it's already not starting well. He's got 2 cabbages and 2 sweet corns sitting in a bush. Like, this is, let's put it this way, if you've never played one of these matches, that's not the position you want to be in. Credit to them, though, after getting wiped 6 times over and over, farmed over and over, they made it to an endgame with actually good loot as well. Which, like, a huge spot. They clearly very much understand the high-level meta. Couple of Elys in there, too, I think. Yeah, knock onto Flexi as well. But only able to end up in 15th. And obviously, them going down and not having the biggest game farmed of this guy is actually one of the reasons why Sky and Scroll have been able to actually catch up and now are tied on points in first and second.
Look, even though that was a bad game for them, the manner in which they handled it is still telling me that this is going to be a team that doesn't just, like, fall away, right? Like, I don't think this is the continuation. Hopefully, it is a downward trajectory. I think they can actually just stay in this competition and keep things fun.
But let's bring the leaderboard back up again, because we've been talking about the heroes who are at the top right now, but I think we need to talk about page 2. Oh, this is pretty scroll right down to the bottom. It's a downgrade, though, we should have to say, for Vico and Malibu. But this is a duo we talked about at the top of the show. Obviously, we're going to talk about them. It's Vico and Malibu, and yet off spawn, they're finding themselves face this disaster pretty much every game.
Yeah, it's a shame. You know, we've seen it already, but it's also not really working out that much better for Idol as well. Like, Idol and Maris, who are the ones that keep playing, but now are also in 11th. So we kind of thought one team might do well to get up into the top. And we've seen, you know, Captain Flexi coming out of Spurs doing that. And, you know, Maris has had a couple nice end games in there. But at the same time, not being in the top 10 of a team this caliber is kind of unfortunate. But the silver lining for them is their games are getting better, right? We had a 20th and 18th, the 6th, and then the 7th. So, you know, they're actually picking up some pace, they're figuring things out. Whereas, you know, Malibu, Vigo, who are contesting them, you know, not so much, let's say.
Yeah, guys, come on, lads, we gotta get back on the pace. We need at least 1 point per game. You can't fall back behind that, right? At least we need that silver lining at the very least. Look, I'd like to hope that these guys can turn things around in the second half of the competition, right? A bad first 4 games doesn't define you as players. These are 2 measures of the game. Let's see if they can get back into it.
Exactly, don't panic just yet. Reese, Vico is just warming up. Let's head to game number 5.
Tough point, but happens to the best of us. That is a very clear indicator of just what kind of level of competition everybody is looking to essentially play up to. The standards are just that much higher in the Reload Elite Series Finals, Takada, and with Game 5 on the horizon, I really want to see what happens with Sky and Skull because they look like they are certainly warmed up.
Oh yeah, no, the last 2 performances in these previous matches have been incredible from Sky and Skull. We still have half the competition to go. 4 more total matches to play out here. So, I mean, even they were talking about Vika Malabuka, I'd say they got a shot if they can get a win here. So let's head right over to Game 5.
Look, you know what to expect if you are starting things off with a triple contest even before Lobby 1 kicked off, but Vika and Malabuka, it just seems like they've had the whole lobby against them. Someone else always intervening with the starting points. This is the first time in a long time that we've seen Vika and Malabuka at least have the opportunity to just play out their initial drop. Medius and iDrop, they're not going to take the aggressive steps just yet. But for Vico and Malabuka, they have got to go nuclear in this lobby if they want any sort of contention to try and bring this one back.
Look, I got faith. We saw the back-to-back wins from Twek and Mijo. I think that put them at like literally 150 points almost. So it definitely is possible, but it's a lot of hope as Pink and Haris with 2 eliminations off the bat, looking incredibly good.
The Human base has been their home base. Demish, Dawn, not too far away either. But TD and Sharp, they have really made the most of this split 530 dots. Sato and Monty, you've definitely seen them in a handful of these endgames trying to take their own, run of things. But Vico Malabuka, 2 eliminations now with Malabuka. Get a chance to maybe try and run this one back, but for Vico and Malabuka, they clearly have managed to 180 things to some extent on their side of things. And I think for right now, all they're really hoping to do is just continue extending things at Slurpee Swamp.
That's quite tragic for iDrop and Marius, though, from 6th and 7th place now. A rough Game 5. Hopefully, Mijo and Vico, Mijo and Twek here don't have the bad end of Vico and Malabuka. They're mad now. They're not happy with how this started, but with the quick eliminations, you can see that fire fueling them up for what's to come here as Vico takes down 1. Malabuka is cracked though, has to be careful, just 30 HP to work with. 1 big pump could be enough to take out Twek.
Part of playing catch-up is just eliminating one of the front runners off the leaderboard. Vico and Malabuka, they are not letting up anytime soon. Although they did miss their initial opportunity, Nidro will have a chance to try and land his Twek. Not trying to go with the turn and burn features onto Vico, but Vico, and you can tell he's just playing like there's a fire that's been lit underneath him. He is going crazy aggressive against Twek and Nidro, but they will manage to escape that. Nidro does get caught out though by Sky and Scroll. Still down, just making it a little bit too feasible for where that action is taking place. They knew, hey, this player's suffering, and if they're peeking that elimination feed, Takada, they can definitely see, oh man, it's the guys that are tied with us, so you know that they want to try and keep applying pressure.
That they do. The Sky and Skull, they've liked the passive gameplay in the early game of these matches. They don't want to put themselves in a position where they get eliminated, and not literally just fully both eliminated, but even one of them going down causes them to have to recuperate all those maps, all that utility. They've played so well consistently, but Pix might be shutting this one down.
No.
Picks? No. Just keeps the opening shot. Sky and Scroll. Trying to create a little bit of space. Maybe just a warning shot for the time being. Convict and Picks. It's not the first time that they've gone for those kinds of stealth opportunities, but we haven't really seen one go to their favor in a hot minute now, Takata. Still like the fact that they're trying to be proactive here, though, but Sky and Scroll just a little bit too aware for that to go down.
Yeah, down to 11. Shield is now a lot of kind of duos in the surrounding areas looking for little hits, little tags, where they can get them. As Chino and Pablo now trying to find Kira, who just has the med kit in hand, crouching behind a little air vent here. Hopefully the team that's Steamy don't see him.
Pablo and Chino are destroying this building from the inside out, though, absolutely gutting it. They know that Kira is somewhere nearby. I think he might have just had that last chance. Finally started using the med kit without being spotted, but yeah, there's definitely still trouble brewing for Kira. Skylo collapsed on by Chap and Flixie. That is a huge blow. Stroll gonna do what he can to try and escape. Nearly shot out of the sky one more time there by Chap, but Chap, Flixie, they are on the move, doing everything in their power to see if they can eliminate Sky and Scroll permanently. And one more time, they'll take out Scroll. But Chap, Flixie, they don't know where Sky is just yet. They've got to get back towards the high ground. Sky just trying to get as far away as possible. Everything to try and dodge around it. But he is not safe.
Yeah.
So many teams just surrounded.
With Flowberry, crash pads, launch pads, shockwaves, all the mobility needed to kind of hunt down these players after they get knocked. Makes it that much more difficult. Saren Bidzovsky, though, done a good job securing a bit of loot here. Malabuka went down as Vico now is forced to kind of keep themselves in the game.
Still enough leftover supplies, though, at Slurpy Swamp for Vico and Malabuka that they don't feel too heavily pressured just yet. But for eliminations, you can definitely tell that they are just absolutely trying to tear through this lobby on a little bit of a revenge tour here. Shark, Teeny, they've got Garm in their sights. They are incredibly healthy in comparison to their Polish counterpart, but Garm, he's just dancing around. He will eventually be knocked. There's nowhere to escape to. Shark and Teeny profit yet again with a nice cleanup opportunity.
I mean, despite being in third with only a 4-point difference from Pablo and Chino, which would knock them out of qualifying range, they are still playing incredibly confident and aggressive. Minori now, and Darkos playing it a bit slower. No eliminations on the board yet, but they are incredibly healthy.
Proof of just how vicious that reboot cycle can become, though, the moment that some of our leading teams, and it seems like they're trying to take matters into their own hands, too. Shark and Teeny have been very deliberate with who they've been applying pressure towards. Given that they haven't been directly contested at Dirty Dots, it gives them openings to, you know, head a little bit west, since Twek and Migro have been kind of pocketed between Slurpy Swamp and Dirty Dots. It's very feasible, I think, for Shark, Teeny, Sky Scroll, and other heavy hitters on the leaderboards to start doing what they can to try and eliminate the competition. Kira and Ping are playing exclusively for the late game here, though, with this Dead Side rotate.
Yeah. Won't be seeing them for a bit, but Pink and Haris now trying to see if they can secure this drop quickly. This is Lexi and Co. Close by, kind of eyeballing it as well. Want to make sure there's no opponent's builds. Potential double spray, but no, looking back, Malabuka, Vico continuing their wrath as Kira now has no shields to work with. Just a little Medinus grenade, but is that going to be enough?
Malabuka doesn't care what Kira has. All he wants is the elimination. Same case scenario there for Vico. They're going to continue to try and pound this player down. But every single opening opportunity, it's just leading to the same thing. They know that they need every single one of these eliminations.
I just hope they don't kind of overextend here and end up getting knocked down before they even have a chance to play that late game. But I mean, they're looking incredibly comfortable now. Running a bit low on mats, but the confidence is definitely still there. Clean shot connected by Malabuka, recuperating a bit of that loot, as now he's going to continue playing this one out. Vico is a bit split from him, but you know, luckily enough, nobody's pushing him, no danger in sight. As Momzi and Sato continuing for a safer rotate here through the seas. They're going to swim around. We'll see how this crash pad flow barrier ends up. So far, so good. I mean, what's good about this is they've done this so early, but there's no duos really kind of looking back at them yet. And they can kind of keep themselves safe from that pressure, whereas some of the duos will take longer to get this rotated in, and they're going to feel the force of it as Scroll now packing behind Malabuka and co. Trying to see if he can get any leftovers from what went down at Slurpee Swamp. I mean, that's the good news about this map. We talked about how, you know, it's easier to recover and reload than standard BR, but in a finals lobby, you know, you'd expect it to be incredibly difficult, but one thing that is good is the amount of Slayer barrels, the amount of heals. I think it's over a 300% increase, which makes it a lot easier to kind of at least recuperate your HP in these lobbies. Now, the resources, the loot, that's another factor completely. Chat Flixie though. Have Vico drop down below. This is not where you want to see Vico go down. The pressure is on his wall. Both players spamming his box, but unable to get themselves through. You can imagine Malabuka Vico. They can't be the healthiest in materials. They've been playing aggressive the whole game, whereas a lot of these duos have continued with their passive play.
Little up-down features from Darkos and Minori. Waiting for that final closing moments. And the reboots are officially disabled. Every player for themselves or for their duo could be disastrous though for some of our players on the outskirts of the zone. Chino and Pablo certainly seem like they've managed to isolate a couple. Sharktini on the other hand, they're just looking to keep the ball rolling here. Still have those early 2 eliminations, but they are right back to home base here at Dirty Docks. Sato, Momzi, same case scenario, just looking to try and take over these first couple of buildings, but Gino and Pablo, they're willing to play the long con here. See if they can get another elimination onto Ritex. It's Chap, Flixie, hanging out, but Vico and Malabuka, they are looking for that big point game here, Dakota, and they might be able to find it. 6 eliminations already. They're definitely going to need quite a few more, though, and a solid placement to turn things around.
No, I got faith, though. I see it. I see the vision. Can they execute on it, though? They've done a good job recuperating the materials, getting the utility and loot that they need to play out this endgame despite the chaotic early game, but we'll see if they can actually capitalize on it now. Teeny Shark doing a good job getting ahead. Not too much danger so far for these players as everyone kind of just solidifies a spot for themselves in this 7th zone. Chino, Pablo maximizing any bit of time they have, whether it be recuperating maps, whether it be planning the next rotate. Even if you don't know where the zone's going to pull, you can always kind of have in the back of your mind, if it goes here, what I'll do. If it goes here, what I'll do, depending on where your opponents are based up at. Reboots, Taco was mentioning, completely disabled, but see if Malabuka and Vico can make a miracle come through here. Oh no, the shots! Too many connecting up to Malabuka. He's been fully cracked. As Vico is going to do what he can to support his teammate. Malabuka just has to stay up. As Wavy goes down shortly after, leaving Josh as a solo as well. Mappy is going to be one of the players up above holding on, but Sky and Scroll, they're back in action once again. A rough start, but now back in business as they get ahead of zone. Just careful from above as the shots might come through. Lucia, Mappy now doing what they can to hold on to it. Pablo Chino, good job getting ahead. Not too many knocks coming through so far, but I might have spoken too soon as Vexy does go down.
Betsy just caught in the mix. Nowhere left to scramble towards. Scroll, Sky, trying to see if they can capitalize on the chaos that's unfolding directly next to them, though. And Teeny, Teeny, he's going to try to make a play for the revive. Keep in mind, it's only 4 seconds. Very feasible, and sure enough, they'll be a functional duo yet again, but Russia and Mappy just applying so much pressure onto all of these teams that are just getting caught up inside of these mid and low ground layers. Minori just trying to see if there's any kind of solo clutch placement. Every little bit counts at this stage. Scroll, Sky, still working through it. And the material count's not exactly where they want it to be, but considering how stuffed everyone else is around them, they'll be able to make use of it. They're going to get a move on now, heading straight for the front side zone.
Still 13 duos up. You don't start getting placements until there's 12 duos left, so a lot of points still to be had. Sky and Scroll do not want to give up the lead they've secured in these previous matches as Chat gets knocked down. Shark and Teeny forced to play the low ground, but Lucia and Mappy doing a great job holding above, but they're just left with wood now.
Yeah, but Flixie, he's all by his lonesome. Doesn't get the shot that he was hoping for. Teeny and Shark just moving too quickly. But Slurpy's gonna buy him a little bit of time here. He's gonna choose the shockwave from way back side of zone, straight towards the front, but Mappy and Lusha, they just look completely uncontested in the high ground currently. Kiro, Ping, they're actually gonna see other players drop from above. Sato and Monty, it comes at such a steep cost. Eliminations just tallying up, but Lusha and Mappy have had to forfeit the high ground, and they might have forfeit so much more than that in terms of positioning. They might get caught up, but one more shockwave. Only Monty left to try and challenge them for it, and then this grenade gonna buy them even more time to heal up here. 2 shockwaves remain now for Lusha, and Monty is forced to drop. He knows he no longer challenges as a solo. Sky all the while, just trying to find some eliminations inside of the low ground.
What a bailout from the Memphis grenade as Sky now still has 2 in his inventory alongside 4 shockwaves. All the utility he needs, but the issue is playing as a solo. Once you get cracked, all eyes are on you as the Memphis grenade is going to get popped some shields now as well. As he's doing what he can to stay up, only 9 builds to work with. If he could find a refresh here, that would mean everything for making it further.
Just trying to see if he could drop Radix into his box instead. Radix gonna drop straight into the water. Chino, Pablo, Malabuka, and Vico, 9 eliminations already. Shark in tatters, Teeny too, but they're still making it work somehow, some way. Sky, no builds, no life left. Malabuka and Vico, though, with 11 eliminations now. They knew that they had to pack a steep punch on this lobby, make a comeback to prove that there's no reason they should ever have been last place on that leaderboard in the first place. But now Shark, Teeny, they need a refresh. They need to get some kind of siphon. Vico gonna go for the immediate challenge. Forces out the icon, but it's been chopped. Rappler barely gonna save Vico's life, but he is lost. Malabuka finally gonna be shut down, but a nice run in the end game. That's gonna be some very good points on the leaderboard. Russia still holding on. Shark and Teeny might have just pulled off a masterclass finesse here. They've taken over high, and they're dropping straight down onto Momsy, looking for that last elimination to spell out their first victory royale. But they've still got to get the job done. Momsy doing everything he can to delay. Momsy might have actually turned this one around. Momsy's got control of the build. Sends Sharks to the way back. He doesn't have anything either. And Momsy with the shockwave plays of a lifetime here to steal away the victory royale from Shark and Teeny.
It started in Dirty Dogs, it ended in Dirty Dogs. The duos that were contesting each other battled it out for that victory royale, but Momsy and Sato were the ones that were able to close it out in a 2v1. So much chaos, I don't even know what we just witnessed, but there's 3 people that can tell us that, so let's head over to the desk.
Thank you very much, guys. Momsy and Sato were the highest damage dealers of the Heat Qualifier 1, and now they're showing they can steal a victory royale away from Shark and Teeny level 2K.
Yeah, that game, it sort of, in many ways, went exactly as I thought it would towards the end. You had, Lush's team on a high who were holding it quite well. They were doing a good job to work with the nets they had. You had people in the MVP who you knew were going to be hungry to just cycle try taking it. Shark continue waiting in the wings for a late high take that ends up playing out. And I think, you know, right, games is going as progressed, and, you know, everything's working out. Didn't foresee Mumsy towards the end there being able to clutch up like that. They sort of went straight under the radar and were able to, again, have a sensational game to finish the run.
Yeah, and I know Nicky there is seething how the last 3 games have been both plays. Firing from his fingers zone. I mean, at the end of the day, it's always meant to save one or two. It's kind of what we've just seen for the last, like I mentioned, 3 matches already. If you're on height, you can throw people into the storm. If you're down low, you can short range straight up and height and take it. There's a reason that all these players aren't using that much earlier in the match.
It's been a really exciting game, guys, because as you can see with Mumsy and Sato, a huge number of eliminations to their name. We'll talk about this after the break, the fact that we're seeing so much more aggression here. But the fact that these two were both able to make it to the end game together despite this aggression and pull it off 11 is really exciting. It makes me even more excited for the next few games.
Yeah, look, this is a team who in the East was on fire, right? And they were showcasing their biggest strength, which is their firepower. And so it's nice to see that sort of come into play today. Again, against 2 players who they really would have wanted to get a win over, right? In Team and Shark. So yeah, I'm sure that'll be one of the most satisfying wins we see today.
Well, the lobby has certainly taken things up a gear. We'll be talking about how after this break. We're over halfway through our first qualifier one final of the Fortnite Reload Elite Series, and oh my goodness, our duos are now cooking. It was unfortunate for TD and Shock that they weren't able to pull off the victory royale, Mumsy and Sato taking it away from them at the last moment, but this duo has been entertaining us endgame after endgame, Reese. TD seems like that clutcher for them. Shock though, what a young gun, he's so impressive to watch.
Absolutely, and like he's putting up the numbers right now. Before this match, he had 10 eliminations across the first 4, which is the second highest when we've been beaten out by Pablo so far. And at some point in this endgame, he does actually get knocked. And he gets him full into the box. TD gets him back in, throws some of the madness down, and revives him, which is an absolute crucial play. If you've got a player on your team as strong as fragging in endgame, as Shark, I'm doing everything I can to get him back up.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think you broke it down pretty well. I think on a macro level, it's good to see Shark sort of having his true ascension, right? Last year was the, he sort of burst onto the scene, but the results weren't really following that hype. I think in 2026, we're starting to see him really position himself in, where his talent clearly deserves to be, higher up on the leaderboards, and now sitting in first place after game 4.
And we were expecting to see Tino and Pablo Wingu in that top 3, those 3 positions that we will be seeing our duos qualify to the championships in August 11. This is a duo that's incredibly consistent right now.
Absolutely. I mean, I keep waxing lyrical about these guys, but it's because, one, they are just so fun to watch, right? You've seen them move from box to box a lot of the time. It's really fun, right? Really curious, and I think the big thing with teams like this is that a lot of the times you're not seeing big macro mistakes, right? Like, they understand how they want to play the game, and a lot of the time it's just about the execution. Most of the time, the execution is great.
And something, in a format like this, it's really, really critical because you're not getting big matches. For the most part, you're not going to get huge amount of eliminations early in the game. So it's very, very important that every single ending is as consistent as they possibly can be. And that's exactly what Tino and Pablo have done. Their highest and biggest match so far has been 5 eliminations, but their lowest has been 3. So there's been consistency kind of middling out, and that's pulled them up to close to the top of the leaderboard.
Do you think they're playing slightly reserve, Reese? Because this is a duo that we expect to be picking up lots of eliminations.
I don't really think so. I mean, you look at the way we've succeeded in Triers, a lot of it was lurking, a lot of it was sneaking onto other players, and we've already seen that out of Pablo in game number 2, I think it was, when we saw early stuff. So they're managing to get a little bit out of that, but it seems honestly just kind of like their regular play style to me.
See, I feel like the regular play style of Vico Malabuka would be going for lots of eliminations, but early doors they were not getting off spawn level. They were going out first sometimes. They play things slightly differently.
Yeah, so we tune into them here, right? Start of second zone, they've already got 2 eliminations. They were able to wipe Hydra from Marius. And you see the intention from them in this game was clear. We need to make up for lost time. We need to get on the alert, get active. And so instantly, they get those 2 eliminations with Hydra Marius and leave the POI, leave Slurpee, and run straight towards Twek and Nidro split. They know these guys are still going to be meeting, they're going to get split up. If we jump one of them, they're not 2v1ing Vico and Malabuka with a bit of loot, right? Like, that is the thought process there, and throughout the rest of the game is super aggressive, causing teams problems, and this is what we were expecting to see them be able to do much more often in this level.
Absolutely. What I just said earlier is that most people aren't having big matches, they're having consistent matches. Most players aren't getting high elimination games for the early and mid. This is the exception to that. They had 6 elims before the 7th zone, which is by the first goal, the highest from any of the matches we've seen so far. And they're the first team to jump into double. Well, not the first team. They've surpassed the first double to get into 11 now as well. So a massive, massive match around. It's almost disappointing that they actually ended up 5th there, because that's so many placement points that they missed out from such a potential huge game.
They're not on page 1 of the leaderboard yet, but I imagine they're going to try more of the same going into game number 6, given that it's made a decent impact for them. If they get another few solid games like that, we could see them at least struggle the top 5, I thought.
I mean, yeah, if you can keep having double-digit limb games and getting into top 5s and doing sort of what we said in terms of actually capitalizing some of those extra places which you get as you move closer to first, absolutely don't rule it out, man. There's still a couple more games here for them to play with.
Yeah, and they're not going to be happy with that. Let's be honest, that's a big match, but from being 20th, the very bottom, they've moved up to 60th, which for a caliber of team who wants to be placing first, who said to me, this is going to be easy, it's only Hydra and Marius off spawn, they're not going to be pleased still with us. So 3 more games, we've got to lock in.
Okay, let's take a look at the points on the leaderboard, because I want to see what's realistic in terms of where our top placing duos are, who could potentially catch them. So, Shark and Teeny, obviously, comfortable at the top, but there's actually not much in it in terms of the front page in terms of points. Yes, Pink and Riz probably aren't going to qualify this time round, but if you look at the likes of Trek and Midro, they might have been bullied out of that lobby, but they're looking like they could potentially trouble the guys at the top. But Sky and Scroll, if we focus on them right now, their consistency is also incredibly impressive. It's like a Danish signature race.
Absolutely, and this has been their worst match. I will be honest, they placed 13th with 2 elims. It's not the biggest one. Sorry, 9th with 1. That was the first match. It's not their worst. I'm totally lying to you, but they were keyed early on in this match by Champion Flexi. So, they had a rough start and they were still able to bring it into a relatively good match, but just kind of similar to the matches that we've seen before, like game number 1 where they weren't able to get their steal. They just weren't able to get like that big refresh. They're consistent in those bad spots. You see Sky shockwave with the front side, completely opposite from what we've seen from their successful matches in the previous 2. So they're in a bad position and had to panic.
Okay then, game number 6 is ready. Just a few more games until we find out who has qualified for August Championship Finals. Let's head back to Tantat and Dakota.
Thank you, Frankie. The pressure is getting on. I mean, Sky and Scroll are doing good, but there's players like Fleck and Midro who were in that top 3 with the back-to-back wins, and now they've fallen short in the past 3 matches. I think it basically averaged like top 15, but the good news is that Battle Bus is ready. So let's get into Game 6.
Look, one thing's for sure here, Takata. Plenty of these duos have their backs against the wall right now, whether it's trying to find their way back inside the top of the leaderboard to ultimately secure their spot at the LAN finals. It's another conversation entirely. If you are Vico and Malabuka just looking to win out an eye drop, you might have started off with the first shot, but it's going to be Vico who comes out on top. Medius now left, try and find anything out of his chest. But Malabuka hunting him down immediately. He's got the shotgun. That is another clean, clear takeout of Hydra and Marius. Vico and Malabuka have certainly started to make their presence known here at Slurpee Swamp. And better late than never if you're these two, because another deep run could be the difference between them having a real chance at still breaking into that top 3. Podesai Asa, though, with Pink and Hedis being separated, has 1 elimination. This has been a pretty split off spawn so far. But for Podesai and Asa, they want to see if they can confirm this elim onto Pink, and they do eventually find it. Shockwaving through, just nothing Pink can really do to try and fend off the 2v1 here. So boom and base does appear to be very heavily in Podesai and Asa's favor, but gotta be wary. Divish almost seems like he might want to take a little strike here. Of course, what's been going down, look at his position.
Yeah, I don't know though. It looks like Podesai and Asa are gonna try and clean this up as quickly as possible. You called it though, some shots from Damush far away as Pink is gonna do what he can, but ultimately ending up in the knock as Podesai picks up his 3rd elimination, 4 total for the duo now as they're gonna try and farm this as long as possible.
It's a big spread of points to secure in the early game, but the teams are gone. They're looking to shut down this elimination points factory. Want to see what's actually taking place at for Crumpet though. Picks comeback. Looking to challenge Prism and Casper, but Prism will be the one to ultimately get the better end of this exchange here. Comeback eliminated. And that's going to send Picks packing. Sure enough, Quixie and Shab, they're also looking to make very early rotates. Some of these teams, they kind of recognizing the fact that they've got to get a hustle on for these early elimination points. Prism and Casper, they're not going to give Convict the chance to land another secured elimination. Just means that they're going to continue building up here. But Chap and Flixie, they missed their chance. They're just going to look to fall back.
For her wrist, on the other hand, has been constant pressure since the start of this match, and when you think it's going to come to an end, it does. 5 eliminations for Podesai. Great way to start this match out for Asa and Podesai. I mean, they've got kind of a ways to go if they want to make that top 3 qual, but this is exactly how you want to start if you want to make it happen.
It's almost hard to keep up with everything that's been taking place, but Malabuka did scout Vexi team getting credit for that elimination. And now Vico, Malabuka, temporary pause in their aggressive strategy. They found those initial eliminations onto Hydrock and Marius, but there's a whole new slew of issues from Kutsovsky. It looks like they're not the only ones. I mean, Betsy, Snosku, all taking notice. There's duo that's kind of scrambling here at Slurpee Swamp. And as long as Malabuka keeps reloading, he will continue to be a target for everyone else in the area. Slurpee team leaders is definitely teammate Pablo. Striking early. Josh an elimination. They can play defense too, but Malabuka. Now a little bit of a defense
but still one of the top contenders for that qualifying range.
Could be better, could be worse. Ultimately, loadout's not looking awful. By stretch of the imagination, this is definitely a position that they can look to try and give a little bit of pushback the rest of the lobby on. But the main thing that I've really noticed with teams like, hold that thought though, Chat, Flixie, Casper, Prism, Chat and Flixie ready to continue this conversation. They sort of started over by Fort Crumpet. Flixie, Chat, 4 eliminations already. Some of those loads of credit were taking advantage and just barreling down onto Pix and Combat. Big shot now onto Prism. He forced a try on his edge, but he's got nowhere left to run. Just cut off every single angle. A great collapse there by Flixie and Chat. And they just want to keep things moving. They aren't going to waste any time. They got exactly what they were after. 5 eliminations is huge. The level up's even for the more fight on shotgun here. And happy they recognize this is not the place we want to be in right now. We're just going to leave Prism and Casper to deal with those two.
Sato Momsey choosing to kind of stay in the storm here alongside Sky and Stroll. You can see the safety that a lot of these top teams are kind of rooting towards at the moment. They don't really want to put themselves in any risky position, and you can see even with the quick stat that Sky and Stroll, all of the most efficient fighters are in the lobby, and I mean it shows.
And another reason too, I think they've been having so much success is because when you even look at their high ground metrics, they spent about 5 minutes playing these endgames from height. Oh man, it is just absolute catastrophe here for Casper and Prism. They just cannot catch a break. And this is also a worst-case scenario for some of our other leading teams on the leaderboard because this team, Flixie, Chat, non-stop in this elimination feed. I mean, 7 elims already collected just because of the action that took place inside of Fort Crumpet.
Doesn't even look like they're done yet. Prism's still trying to do what he can to get away. Shark and Teeny using a little slurp bait. These players are more experienced to take a slurp by the middle structure. As now the rotate comes through.
What you doing? He played that game for all day. What game you was playing?
I can't stress it enough. I am really excited, but also concerned for the rest of the lobby once they start actually throwing themselves into mid to end in fights because there's a lot of power up potential there. And for a player like Shark especially where there's going to be
and I can't explain.
He just gets so messy.
The TV ain't freaking working.
They've got 6 eliminations. Whether or not they can actually scrape into that top 3, mathematically it's a very difficult thing to consider, but the prize pool is still on the line for everyone else, and Malabuka, that was a big connection that he needed to defend his position currently at Slurpee.
And not only you get a qualifying spot, first place is 30K, 20K for second, 14K for third. Big prize pool.
We want season 1.
You know, a lot of them just really also want That might fall spot. Direct being one. The duo doing a good shot at it. They can get one more win, complete the hat trick. It could put them in a position to make it happen.
Their intention just seems to go on, continue to make cool, calm, collected decisions. Transition them into some amazing finish. Shark team, edge zone for the time being, but they have got a stacked loadout between the two of them. We haven't really seen too many instances either of players being able to utilize exotics. I think that's actually the first one that I've got a glimpse of today. Vico, worst possible outcome. Now with just barely managed going to rebooting in time, but Vico's just trying to build some space. Chance to land down. And he knows that once Vico can create a little bit of space here, play for the revive, he's not going to be run back into this one. Reboots have been disabled. Darn and Beamish, they know just how weak and just how tempting it is too for Vico to just jump across, try and save his duo, but just holding fast, they are not going to let him go.
Worst case, he has to solo clutch it and gets good practice. Has a solo for the tournament he's got with Reese. Stacy revives Malabuka. Eliminations on the board. They can't afford getting eliminated before the placements come through. They've done so well already securing themselves these amount of eliminations. Now all that's left is to close it out with a good placement here. Chino and Pablo, though, do not want to let that happen.
Is that the FNCS? Chino and Pablo have definitely stepped it up a notch too. Every single one they're scarier than the one before. They have been carrying through a lot of these circumstances, and Sky Scroll credited the elimination onto Vico. Make sure to drop down, grab the body lead in no time at all. Decent amount of materials going to be sent their way. Chet Flixie still playing towards the opposite end of where Sky and Scroll are currently based up. But Nori, Darkos, done a great job at finding a somewhat isolated spot. It's not easy to do. Everybody's starting to collapse in on each other. A lot begins to Teeny just trying to stay overhead. We know that they like to go for height, but they have been using a lot of materials, a lot of what they have to offer here. Chino getting lobby focus, and he'll be brought down to the pressure. Pablo just has to sit and hold. He knows there's nothing he can do except play his own life from this point forward.
This is where the chaos unfolds. Pablo is put into panic as he's lost his teammate. 24 builds to work with, as now they're forced to make something happen. Ludja Mappy, they have the height, but are they even going to try and hold it this early on? It looks like they want it. They need a huge game if they want to have a chance to compete at the top three. With only one elimination on the board, they're going to get
Thinking it is. Playing that secondary high, Apollo all the way down in the dirt, just trying to stay as far back from the backside of the zone. But plenty of other players kind of looking to see. They know that there's going to be some stuck solos in the mix. Pablo's too exposed. He's big elimination here. Worst case scenario for Beamish. Dom, you know where he's at, but the fact of the matter is, Pablo finding that shot could be the ultimate extension of his run here in this game.
Huge bailout from Pablo. Sky and Scroll still up as a duo as Pablo's doing everything in his might to clutch it as a solo with only one build left. He pops the flow barrier, but shots get connected onto him. He finds a little miss. The Sky goes down as well. Scroll's left with only 20 HP, trying to do what he can. Is he actually going to be able to pick up his teammate? Pablo somehow still up and running.
He's so tempting. The revives are just so much faster. It's easy. Scroll either going to be able to steal away different players' knock body, but now Scroll
teammates.
getting knocked in the
Your
mix.
teammates more.
The Sky. Scroll's been fully eliminated.
He's not the team.
Sadly, he's been shut down here, but Shark, Teeny, they've just been waiting for their opportunities. He's not going to try to pick it off. He's going to get shot way too far back. He's not going to actually get a chance. His last crash pad gonna send him
He's
down
gonna
to
freak kill me.
but there's just so much
That's
mayhem
funny.
unfolding around him.
He
Maybe
did
he
it.
can reach out to the high ground and
Smart.
just hoping
There's
that
three people in
this is
there.
where he's currently facing up. He doesn't have much material. He needs to find a huge conversion here. He needs an elimination.
How did I walk out? And he was cashing. Oh, be easy. I'm gonna roll up. The internet on my side. The internet is not on my side. Everybody messed up right here. See something here. Step on me.
Trying to see if he can keep one more life, but it's just not going to be enough. Teeny and Shark have no issues whatsoever. They are just picking off these solos like flies in the low ground.
Doing everything in their power to hold on to that top three. They want to take over the crown in first place, and they have everything to do it. As the shots connect, Tweg fully crowd now down below, as Teeny is going to be able to retake the high ground. Tweg goes down, Wavy as well, Shark and Teeny looking absolutely lethal as they overthrow Hype and drop down for even extra eliminations. Josh now doing what he can to stay up. He's got some shields, but no heals to close this one out. A 2v1. Josh needs to make a power play to win this.
And Josh nearly finds Teeny.
That's me.
That's going to key in Shark to where his last player is at. And Josh is trying to see if he can just keep it rolling.
He's so good. He's so good.
Here and there, all depends. Shark now being a little bit more cautious about how he chooses to proceed.
I
But it's just too much pressure to handle. Shark and Teeny finding their victory royale here in Game 7. We were all curious if they were actually going to be able to find in this sequence of lobbies here in Dakota, but they've done it.
They've finally done it. They tried time and time again to secure high ground, and they have completed it. So let's head over to the desk and see how it shakes things up.
Thank you so much, guys. This duel was already in contention for a spot challenge, but now they've pretty much cemented it with a victory royale. It was very high earned. And again, it's just a masterclass in this duo. The chemistry is clearly there. Shark knows he's the attack dog for this duo, and Teeny is the guarantee.
Absolutely, and a lot of that was basically...
Bro, the internet is on my side. The internet is on my side.
This is one of the best times for the ending. I'm watching Shark TV, and they need to
I'm not gonna score more.
very messy up until this point.
Please.
See them stick together and have such a good tournament is really nice.
Yeah, I think a big thing with these guys is when both of them come knocking at the door, like it's just so hard to take out. So, Shark has played amazingly today. You know, we're talking a bunch about how he has been such a key player for this duo in this year. But like you said, together they are much stronger. And you know, it was come to psychometric. We were all asked the question, when's it gonna come? It was gonna come, right? They kept having these games where they were.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Causing people problems.
Oh my, your freaking team can come in. Yeah, the whole thing is messed up.
When you have someone you want to use them, you know? You don't want to put them in a third tower. That's just cool. You want to let them off the leash and go crazy. Like, that is still a risky play. So that's why we've seen so many solo clutches from them up to this point. So now that it's actually worked.
Well, speaking of solo clutches, there were solos in that endgame. We'll talk more about those after this break.
All I gotta do is hit my face. I'm kind of lost. really doing it. They're really doing it. They're really doing it. Nobody takes a minute down. I don't love this person on my team. I love this person on my team. Hello? Oh, wow. Please. Yeah, I need to go.
Don't play that bitch like I feel so. Man, you know. Not doing this. Why they keep giving me fucking 3 fucking people, bro? Why this thing is glitchy like this, bro? I'm not playing this shit. What's good?
What's up? What's up? With the first cereal, you want to restart?
How are keep over here?
Hmm?
How are keep over here?
Barry, where you Barry. I ain't gone. On 30-minute event I'll start now. I need one going on match till it start. Come on, see how. How can I event that?
I don't know. I don't see the event pop up. Not the timer. Sorry, not even timer.
It's so asking for all this thing now. You going to it already? You're going to it.
FNCS.
You can't go watch it. Go watch it. He's sitting there. He tournament. They might go with right now. But birthday after we can't go in the car. Birthday after. No, we ain't gone.
She just press radio while ago.
When?
Before you change it. My signal said download still.
Alright, let's back on this one.
Why are you so surprised? Your sister's back from school. Huh? The next week really work? You're just taking it real.
Alright, over here now.
Sis, hurry. Help me pick up the toys. Okay. Food's ready. That's right, too. It's fine. What's it? I accidentally broke it. Why'd you help me? You're my sister. Want to play with my drum? No, you aren't nice to me. Who's the magic sister? No, always be kind to your siblings. If you promise to be kind, life can come in a heart. Bye.
I'll be in a match with it where they sitting there coming to. The live event coming. Barry! No, sir. Barry gone somewhere to better. I'm gone. I invite somebody I go and bomb cloud the cities. Here people didn't fuck crazy, man. After I invite my head on. What are your blood clots, somebody?
What was your from you, man?
I'm saying what? I'm saying, oh, yo, nobody answering.
I wasn't on the controller.
Oh.
I hear you. If I answer, because I'm at the game.
There's an event, there's a live event here. I don't know what's going on. 9 minutes. 9 minutes. Probably when we're in the game, it'll probably come.
I think you should throw us in the live event while we're in the game.
Check for my little food before it burn up.
late already. Somebody needs to ready up.
Me? Nope. Nope. Already up. We have.
Bro, you're about to get kicked.
We have.
It was just now dancing.
Kick him.
Ready long time.
Already.
No, sir.
Over. It's very long time. It's upon tree. Tree is married already. Tree is married already. One married already.
My some of them 2 minutes and 54 now.
Can't see time we back over.
3 minutes man upon now.
Can't see time we back over. Carry that. Me not free start counted.
Okay, I'm gonna remove you and then add you back, alright? Alright.
I didn't back now. See that ain't my problem.
Wait, send him a request. I don't got him on my list.
Bro, you be playing people, you don't add people, bro.
Damn fucking right. Gotta test them out first, you know? Make sure they are no weird vibes.
What kind of weird?
To know my fucking ear. Do not chat down my ear, please.
Huh?
OC, ready up and add your friend.
5 minutes left for the event. Yo, where is he? Bro.
He's gonna throw us an event when we're in a match, I think.
Oh, see there. Well, he's off. It says offline. What the fuck? It said offline. But I don't know.
That's country.
5 minutes for the event. Okay.
But what live event it is? I don't know.
I don't know. Probably when you're in the game and in your 5 minutes you will see it. Depends where we are. You're probably gonna start at the you're gonna do at the at where the ball is. So I'm going there, I'm gonna camp, go there. See what's that about? You guys going over there, I'm going over the ball. Oh, let me just loot right here and go over to the ball. See what that live event is around. That if I don't die. There's a million people.
No, because if we jumped on during the live event, maybe we wouldn't have stopped in 15 minutes. Usually there's a few, like 20 minutes. When are we gonna get anything free since we're on for the live event? Last time they gave away a free skin or something?
The juice or that shit?
No, it was after that, like, I think 2 months ago. If you were on for the live event, you got something free.
Okay. There's a big pot right here. The nigga probably took it up. What the hell? What the fuck? Bro, I lagged. Yo, the game fucking laggy a bomb buckler, bad man. Pick me up, pick me up, pick me up. Pick me up, pick me up, pick me up.
53 seconds. 46.
We don't want to be I'm going to game before I come out. I'm going to go for you.
Yes, sir.
You know what I see for that event?
Hello, I need help. He's so low. Fuck, man. My guy is hella low. I'm going for him.
Don't come on the car. Come on the car. Nigga was low as fuck. Go. Hold on. I need heals, bro. Let me go over there. Ball is.
I did not need assistance, man. You coming? avocado cereal. How many people over there?
One motherfucker just sneak up on me like, bro. These niggas are just crouching in the fucking game, bro. Crouching like a bitch. Reboot me, bro. Running down a nigga in the fucking air.
Anything here? No.
Like a, I don't see it, bro.
The live event start?
Looks so.
Y'all want to go back to the lobby?
It's supposed to be up and over here where the ball is.
Oh.
That's what I was trying to see.
Where the ball is. Like Little Lab.
Yeah.
Alright, let me head over there. Idiot.
These bitch ass niggas. You have to be here. What the fuck?
Put that on you. Three of them. Hold on. I don't see nothing over here. Oh, I see something here, but...
What do you see? What's over there?
Nothing, just a ball break. That's it.
The ball break?
Yeah, nothing special. I'll go to ordinary.
Bull crap. Fortnite really this bugging. You're gonna put a fucking timer in symptom.
Trying to get enough so I can get a revive or something. Alright, let's go lock on AR.
Hate that gun.
I hate it until I'm the one with it.
Bro. You think with the fucking locked on AR, bro.
Oh, I need that deal.
That nigga was locked on shit, bro.
Oh shit, on me.
That nigga with that locked on shit, bro.
He got me in the black air.
Yep. I know you got it. Yep, I know you got it, bitch ass nigga. No, have that bum buckler gun, man. I tell you, only gun you can fucking use. That use right now.
You're tough, man.
I'm not too bum buckler.
Thank you, I'm sure. Come on! Oh my god! I am appalled by the killing.
Top move.
Keep them off here. 2 more seconds. Go on. Yeah, you're not Batman serial dead. No man. Do not let me get it. You know, don't heal. I barely got bullets. Oh shit, serial comment. Fuck. Oh my bad, man. Try to slowly pause how it's climbing. Oh shit. Oh, I don't think I'm gonna get there in time. Fuck. That was my bad, bro.
Suck out to the mother, man.
You clutch? You clutch? Okay. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't had much faith in this game, but shit, bro. I'm gonna check out the live event.
That bomb.
Go to Legends Landing.
Stupid live event. Like live event, you know. Hold on, let me see what I'm doing. In my room. Alright. Now play and cook, I see it.
And you're clutching at the same time, man. I gotta give you your props. How are you? They can't touch both teeth.
You know, I'm a pot. Say you put it on, you know, I'm a pot. You know, you're a wicked man pot. You know, easy.
What you cooking this time?
Beer chicken with some basmati rice.
You crack up, what you say?
Basmati rice with baked chicken.
Oh, nice, nice. Ready up. In the meantime.
What is that? What is that guy, you know? Is that not?
The live event. I wanna see what it is.
No, this is a tournament.
Is it?
This is duo tournament.
Oh.
You could sit down and watch it in there.
Okay, I don't want to do that. Let's go back to the lobby. So where's the live event then?
I don't know what they put their thingy on there for. I think it was. I think it's for a 1 hour shit that you get, like, you get spawned with the cupid.
Maybe that's it.
You get spawned with the cupid and all that shit.
Local Legends product test from now until February 23rd at 9 AM. Players duels, spheres, or spots in Battle Royale, blah 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 blah. A collection of cameras. Oh, that just don't unlock the back bling. I ain't seen nothing now. You really know about the live event?
Who keep chilling and shit?
I'm gonna be AFK for a second, but I already know.
I'm gonna find save if I already. How the bomb like this? Oh, you span with it. Oh, see live event there. Bomb clad. So I'm gonna go away by this one. Very see live event if you hear me.
Damn, did y'all spawn with a selfie right too?
There's a live event. You're in it right now. So you'll get started with a Cupid shit, and the Cupid shit is one shot, one kill. I heard they were talking about it yesterday.
So I did get one shot and I was killed. Alright, I'll come in.
Bro, I'm getting shot with Cupids. This nigga. What the? A man just want to shoot out one time, we just sit there. Oh yeah, follow up. Oh yeah, follow up, man, sir. Oh yeah, follow up, man, sir, pussy. Oh yeah.